few months ago, I came across this image from a Twitter user, X still sounds very weird, called Hussam, which was showing the current state of tech and tech-related careers in the past few years. From the image, you can clearly see there's general exhaustion from the expectations that people in tech and tech-related careers need to constantly upskill to keep up with all the developments that are happening in the sector. This is especially true right now with the rise of AI and all the changes that AI is making to the usual product development cycle. For a long time, when it comes to building products, the designers would talk to the users, understand their problems, and come up with design concepts that would solve the problems of the users. After testing the designs and making sure that everything works as it should, the designers hand over the design files to the software engineers or developers who then build the product using code. And then at the end, we have a product that users can use to do different things. It could be a web app, it could be a wearable, it could also just be a mobile app. And for a long time, designers and developers have had distinct roles and they've been working together in harmony, with each of them knowing where their role starts and ends. Of course, there are some people who are skilled in both design and development. However, for a long time, these people were so rare that they were referred to as unicorns. But that doesn't seem to be the case anymore. With the rise of AI, designers are expected to learn how to code, and developers or software engineers are also expected to know how to create designs. So these two roles, which are very distinct, are now merging, and we're having a new career path of a design engineer or UX engineer where someone gets to do both the design and the coding. With design, we're having design platforms like Canva and Figma giving the option for people to simply use prompts to be able to describe what they want to build, and then the design platform is going to do all the work of translating your description into a product, whether it's a website or a web app or a mobile app. Here's an example of me using Canva AI to design the website for my brand, Pixels and Divs. So what I've done here is that I have come up with a prompt for my brand, Pixels and Divs, and then I'm going to use this prompt and just put it into Canva AI and then see what it's going to come up with. Now that you've seen what Canva AI can do, I'm going to repeat the same process with Figma AI. So I'm going to use the same prompt that I used in Canva AI, and I'm going to put that prompt in Figma sites and then see what comes up. As you can see from the results that we've gotten from both Canva and Figma, AI has come a long way in being able to help you come up with the fast ideas for whatever you're looking to build. Now, most of these AI designs are not very, very good. This is a common thing with a lot of AI design where it might look good, but it does not follow the general UX principles. So as a designer, you can come in and use your experience and knowledge to be able to fill in the gaps that AI has not been able to do. I usually consider AI as one of the tools that I use for mood boarding and coming up with ideas and concepts, but I still need to make some tweaks in order to come up with a final design. On the other hand, with coding, we have AI coding assistants like GitHub Copilot and Cloud Code, which almost acts like the design platforms where you just use a prompt and then they're going to generate the code. Now, I'm not a software engineer, but from what I've heard from my software engineer friends and network is that just like in design, where you have to go in there and make changes as a designer, it's the same way that for coding, the code that is generated by AI is not usually perfect. You still have to go in there and look at it and decide whether you want to use it or not. So here's an example of Cloud Code where I am going to use the same prompt that I used in Canva AI and also in Figma to see what Cloud is going to come up with. Looking at all the 3 sites that have been generated, I'd say that my favorite is this one. And then my second favorite is this. And then my least favorite is this. Side notes, one of the things that I like to do is to explore the same prompt with different AI platforms just to see what ideas they come up with, because it's usually fascinating to see all these AI platforms interpreting the same prompt differently and coming up with different ideas. And I think that's a good thing when you're trying to explore and see what kind of ideas you'd want to build on. And also you can just borrow from different ideas, things that look great, and then use it in your final idea. So what does this mean for designers? Now that AI is able to do work that would have needed weeks or months to be done, does that mean that the value of designers is going down? At this point, with a lot of the design platforms that I've used that have AI, I think we're not yet there in terms of letting AI do everything from start to finish. Most of the times, you still need designers to come in and make some tweaks to make sure that what AI provides is actually what you want to put out there as the final product. One of the analogies that I've seen people using in thinking about AI and how it fits into our work is to treat AI as an overeager intern. AI definitely comes up with some ideas and solutions, but you still have to be there to guide the AI so that it gives you whatever you want. And even with the final product that it provides, you still have to go in there and check that everything is as it should. So right now, AI is still playing the role of an assistant or an intern, but we don't know what will happen in the next 2-3 years. So we'll just have to wait and see. But then that's where the whole idea of should designers learn how to code comes in. With AI becoming better and better each year, and as more people use it, it becomes even better because it's learning from how people are using it. So that's when the idea of can designers do more so that they're able to provide more value without being replaced by AI comes in. This brings us back to the question, should designers learn how to code? Depending on where you are in your journey, this can either sound very exhausting or exciting. And that's why I started with this image that I found on Twitter with this person just being exhausted by all of the things that designers are required to learn to be able to keep up with the trends that are happening in the tech and tech-related industries. For those who are exhausted, it's because you've probably spent years becoming good at design and you've worked so hard to get to where you are. And then once you're settled and you just want to do a good job as a designer, then this new thing comes in and now you have to change your whole career and start learning this new thing so that you're able to future-proof your career. I don't know about everyone else, but I find design to be more exciting than coding. So the idea of having to learn how to code so that I can future-proof my career does not sound as exciting. In 2020, when the world shut down and we were stuck at home and everyone was making banana bread, I decided to learn how to code, and specifically front-end development. I took online classes and studied HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And just from my experience, I realized that while I enjoyed getting to know how to use code to build products, it wasn't something that I was naturally inclined towards. So after taking all those courses and understanding the basics of front-end development, I did not use that knowledge a lot and decided to focus on design because I found design to be more exciting and more in line with what I was interested in. Little did I know that in a few years, design engineers would be in high demand. And I think most designers are like that. We are more creative, and so we naturally gravitate towards design than coding. And so the idea of learning this new thing, not because we are excited about it, can feel very exhausting. And if that's you, I get you. On the other hand, there's some designers who are excited about learning how to code. Part of me fits in this group after having my period of not really being interested in coding that much. The reason for my change in perspective is because I have had a lot of ideas that I've wanted to build, but the limitation has been that I don't know how to code. Now, I have used no-code platforms and they've been very helpful. Actually, one of my businesses was purely on a no-code platform. But for anyone who's used no-code platforms, you know that they have very many limitations. So you cannot customize the product that you're building because you're limited by what the no-code platform can do. This is why I feel like learning how to code will give me more tools in my arsenal so that if I have an idea, I can use code, I can use no code, I can use AI to be able to bring that idea to life. Plus, it doesn't hurt to be a unicorn. Even though right now, design engineers are becoming so common that they're no longer going to be referred to as unicorns. And also, in general, monetarily, as a design engineer, you can earn more than just as a designer because you're combining two very essential processes in the product development cycle, and you have the skills to be able to do both design and development, which makes you more valuable than someone who can just do one. That said, I still think there's still room for designers who only design and developers who only code. I don't think every designer should learn how to code because there's still room for specialized knowledge for those who know the ins and outs of design. So to answer the question whether designers should learn how to code, my answer would be for those who want to future-proof their careers and are open to exploring skills that are complementary to design, this could be a pathway that you can explore, even if you don't want to go all in and become a front-end developer or a design engineer. I think it doesn't hurt to learn the basics or the fundamentals of code. And especially now that AI is becoming more popular in assisting with coding, you just need to be able to have the foundational knowledge, and then everything else you can figure out with the help of AI. Those are my thoughts on whether designers should learn how to code. And in my next video, I'm going to dive deeper into the role of a design engineer and what they do, so stay tuned. So let me know what you think, and follow me on Substack, where I'll be sharing my journey transitioning from a designer to a design engineer. And if you're curious about how that process looks like and the behind the scenes, I'll be sharing everything there. Now, for my 10 subscribers, if you're wondering why the name has changed, in the past, this channel used to be called Imali Designs, but I have made a change and now it's Pixels and Divs, which is the brand that I'm creating for the design to design engineer journey.